The Green Bay Packers just get fantastic news before the start of the NFL playoffs, and Green Bay Packers fans all over the world, you need to lift up your head because the sky is not falling. Never in my life have I seen such a dejected fan base who the wind is completely out of their sails that does not match the actual reality of the situation, the reality of what the Las Vegas odds makers are saying about the team. So Green Bay Packers fans, your optimism for this team, y'all got to take it up a notch because it just does not match the reality. If you're new to the channel, this is the NFC North Guys. I'm Ben. I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan, but my NFC team for sure is the Green Bay Packers, always has been, with most of my family living in Janesville, Wisconsin. And we've got to just point out a couple things. So first off, when Micah Parsons had that season-ending injury, I had multiple Packers fans in my life text me, it just feels like our Super Bowl window closed. That's just not reality. If you take a look at if the playoffs were to start today, the Vegas odds makers, who are not in the business of losing money, actually would have the Green Bay Packers favored over the Chicago Bears. Yet, every Packers fan, like as I read Twitter, it's just like the sky is falling, and like Vegas, who does not like to lose money, thinks you're gonna beat the Chicago Bears. It took a Jordan Love injury and playing a backup quarterback. It took turning off the heaters at Soldier Field. It took an onside kick and just like ridiculousness and horrible officiating for the Chicago Bears to barely sneak by you in the last time the Green Bay Packers and the Bears met. When this happens again, the Green Bay Packers are going to win. You're going to have a healthy Jordan Love. You're going to have a healthy Christian Watson. He had just come off injury after playing the Denver Broncos. It's going to be a healthy Josh Jacobs. In addition to that, there's just a couple other signs of life here that we got to talk about Diggs here in a second, the addition that he is to this team. But just even reading these types of articles here saying that the Packers are making a brutal admission about Matthew Golden. And that brutal admission, that's the headline, and you take a look at what the coach actually said here, is that he's got a really good, bright future, which he absolutely does. He's talented, but I think right now, in the room the way it is, he's not going to have a premier role in the playoffs. Like, that's not a brutal admission. You have some of the best wide receivers in football that any other team in the NFL would kill to have. Christian Watson, Dobbs, Jaden, like y'all have an incredibly talented room, and saying that he's not going to be the premier number one option on the receiving room, that's not a brutal admission whatsoever. He is a fantastic wide receiver that we've already seen flashes of from this year. Like looking at obviously these catches here in the preseason were wild, seeing his ability not only like going up and getting big balls like that, but his ability after the catch. I'm just telling you as a completely unbiased fan here, his ability after the catch is unreal. Like they're most receivers make that catch and they maybe get the first down if you're lucky. The Broncos have one receiver who would get the first down on that. But he turns this into way, way, way more than what is actually designed on that play. I'm telling you that the ceiling for Matthew Golden, even like this offseason, is still incredibly high. Do not forget what he put up when he was at Texas. Like, this dude is a game changer. And you take a look at what is the position in football that has the biggest jump from year one to year two. Without a doubt, it is the wide receiver position. That you have wide receivers in college, turn on any of these college football playoffs, and you'll see they're running it open in space all the time. And it's like in the NFL, it's very, very different. You have to learn how to run the entire route tree, and you're not just running in space all the time. And so you see tons of articles written about the sophomore surge that happens between your rookie year and your sophomore year, especially when you're coming into a room that already has a guy like Christian Watson. You don't have a chance to develop your entire route tree because you have such a great option number one. And so that is just great news. Do not be surprised whatsoever to see Matthew Golden make a big difference even in this playoffs. And then obviously you cannot sleep on the fact that the Green Bay Packers went out and got a guy that a lot of other teams in the NFL wanted. I was watching Broncos play the Chargers this week, and every single Chargers fan on Twitter wanted the Chargers to go out and get Trevon Diggs, a absolute ball hawk at cornerback, and no better indictment of how good he's going to be than as soon as that happened, you see Micah Parsons say, "We're back," with the salute emoji on Twitter. So not just like, hey, we're back next year or in a couple of years, like we're back right now. And you just take a look at this dude's highlights, and it is unreal. You think that he is a wide receiver. You think it's his brother out there running routes for the opposing quarterback, because he is a complete ball hawk. that the Cowboys never should have let go. And the fact that he is now a Green Bay Packer, yes, you lost Micah Parsons, and that could be absolutely devastating. But at the same time, you added not a Pro Bowler, not like just like your average dude, an All-Pro, meaning that he was the best corner in football the year he was selected as an All-Pro, and you throw up a 50-50 ball, and it's like a 80-20 ball for Trevon Diggs. So I think this is a huge addition. I think that like you're playing Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams puts balls in positions that he probably should not with his painted nails. And I just am telling you, Trevon Diggs is going to pick off Caleb Williams, and the Green Bay Packers are going to win against the Chicago Bears. It's going to happen. It's written in the stars. It's scripted. I'm telling you that is going to happen, and you should not be discouraged whatsoever about where the Green Bay Packers are right now. They got a dude everybody else wants. And then in addition to that, like I think there's a real world here where there is a bidding war for the backup quarterback for the Packers in Malik Willis. He's looked phenomenal in his action. Even that game against the Ravens, he looked phenomenal. It was just like the Ravens finally figured out that they need to hand the ball off to Henry there. And he played phenomenal, even injured. And now there's going to be a bidding war for him, which means that depending on the size of contract that he gets, that the Green Bay Packers get some compensatory picks for him. So you're going to have Matthew Golden hit. You're going to have Trevon Diggs step up and make a big difference. And you're going to have Micah Parsons back. Oh, yeah, you also have a top-tier quarterback in Jordan Love. Your running game, when Jacobs is healthy, is absolutely unstoppable. And the way they've kind of been slow-playing Jacobs, I think, is setting up perfectly for the NFL playoffs here to start. And at the end of the day, you are looking at an NFC race that is wide open, that you're already going to be the favorites against the Chicago Bears. And then it's like, do you really trust Sam Darnold and the Green Bay Packers? I don't. That you've seen as the season has wound down or wound to its end, he plays worse each and every week. The more that's on the line for Sam Darnold, the worse that he plays. Matthew Stafford is old enough to be the president of the United States, and his back is just going to feel worse and worse each and every week. And he just struggled and dropped out of the MVP race playing the Atlanta Falcons. I like the Green Bay Packers a lot more than the Atlanta Falcons. And then, the rest of that NFC picture, I honestly think one of the toughest matchups is probably playing the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you just look at like other teams in your conference. Like, does J.J. McCarthy, do you really think that he is going to pop off and be something special? I certainly don't. And I think, hearing the Minnesota Vikings and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow discussions tells you everything you need to know about that, the Minnesota Vikings and their trust in JJ, and then the Detroit Lions, that they all know that their Super Bowl window is already closed. And so this division that looked like one of the best divisions in football, I really think is now down to two teams. It's going to be the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears for the considerable future. And so lift your heads up, Green Bay Packers fans. It is okay. You are making it at least to the second round of the NFL playoffs, and go Pack, go.